Welcome. Come with me. The doctors will see you now.
Welcome back to Fast Talks with Family Docs. I'm Dr. Veer Vidala.
And I'm Dr. Phil Palmer, and we're here with Dr. Elizabeth Saladin, talking about a variety of things. And we learned about your goats. Yeah. We learned about Carl.
Yes.
We learned about Firefly Farms, or Firefly Farmstead.
Farmstead, yeah.
Okay. But now there's a new venture we wanted to talk to you a little bit about called Firefly Homes.
Yes.
So I'm curious, what prompted you and your husband, Josh, to add on a new venture to everything else you are already pursuing?
Yes. So that happened about, I would say, a year ago. We had our great aunt, who was 80, probably 3 or 2 at the time, well, 83, moved in next door to us. So we had this mother-in-law suite kind of thing built, and so that we would be closer to her and stuff. And so like after we did that, my husband and I were just thinking like, well, to be honest with you, like we started having the conversation of, okay, what can we do on the side to earn extra money? Like what can we do? Like he was he has a background in welding, and then he took that trade from Oklahoma to DC, where there's like no oil field. Like he was doing oil field here. Then he learned how to do like overhead doors and just commercial construction. And he had his own commercial construction company. So we were just thinking like, what if we did like residential construction? Because the commercial construction, it required a lot of his own physical labor. And like, we're getting old, like we had that conversation, like your shoulders are going to not like hold up. So like, what could we do? So I was like, you would be great at this. Like, it's like, you would be the family medicine doctor of construction. Like you would be like, okay, I know we need to call in this specialist, the plumber, the electrician, the framers, and like in what order and how to communicate and orchestrate all that. And so we were grateful. We had our friend who was retiring, a very well-known, respected builder, reputable. He was retiring, and we were like, "Hey, what do you think? Like, we kind of want to get into this, but we also don't really want to screw it up because it's really scary to like, borrow money from the bank when you're like, this is like new."
Yeah.
And so he was so kind and has been so very helpful to us as we're starting this business. And so he has just been with us like every step of the way, just making sure we don't screw up really bad and have to sell the farm. You know what I mean? And so but it's been fun. It's been really neat. We actually have already sold the first home, and it's really cool. It's going to be to a family medicine resident who's about to graduate from OSU, and so it's
That's
really
so cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Gosh, the connections.
I know. It was crazy, but that's kind of how we got into it, because we were just, I'm kind of like the main breadwinner at home, and we've trying to pay for these 2 kids to grow up and have college and all this stuff, and so we didn't really like grow up with a lot of money, and so like it's all kind of new to us, and we're trying to figure out how to do the right thing with what we've been given, and so it was just an idea, like a business idea, to think like, hey, I think you'd be really good at this. Let's try it. But it was scary. I'm not going to lie. Like it still is.
So did you guys buy a lot in a neighborhood that's being developed?
Yeah. So we bought 2 lots. And so the bank, thankfully, like because of the mentor that's working with us, gives us some cred, and so they let us work on the first home, and then as soon as this one was under contract, we're going to start on the second one. You know what I mean? And so we have the lot already, and now we're just ready to like start building on the second. But the first one is actually being completed. It's not 100% yet. But
so then did you build the house kind of along your vision and ended up selling it, or did you make an arrangement in advance knowing this dock was coming out there? Were they involved in the design in any way from the get-go?
It's really weird because so every time I would go out there to see the progress of the house, I would just pray. I'd be like, God, I know you have someone in mind for this house.
Right.
Like I know they're out there, and it's going to be real cool, like when we find them or whatever, when they find us, because I thought about how God has orchestrated everything in our life. I thought, how many times have we driven past this exit on I-40? Would we have ever imagined that we would be building a home to sell there? Like, God's plans are just so much bigger than ours.
Yeah.
And so that was the cool part, I thought, because then whenever they met us and, we're like, oh, my wife's a family medicine doctor. And he's like, oh, I'm in residency. Like,
so cool.
I was like, you're the people we were praying for. You guys are it. And so they're coming into it with the majority of the house done, but they're getting to, because it's not finished yet, they get to kind of pick and choose like different, fixtures and colors and stuff like that. And so we had that experience when we moved back to Oklahoma, and it was fun because it wasn't like the stress of building the house from the ground up, but it was like getting to pick out the fun stuff. Yeah. And so I hope that they're really going to like it.
And it's part of their personality in the house too.
For sure.
And that's really cool.
Yeah. And I wanted to jump back to something from our last episode when you were talking more about the farm and we were discussing more about your crops. I'm curious as you guys, where you started and maybe where you're at now. So you have 29 acres and you started with strawberries. So did you I've tried to grow strawberries in my backyard in a little box.
Yeah.
So did you commit an acre to it or 5 acres? And I think you'd mentioned last episode trying to get your kids to come help you weed.
And they
so you're not got 30 acres
No,
of strawberries out there.
No.
I understand that.
No.
How'd you start and how did it expand?
I just started with, maybe like a 30-foot by 50-foot area and put strawberries, planted them in the ground.
Okay.
And then the next year we built a bigger area and we actually put like the kind of plastic down that will keep the weeds out. And then we put plants in rows like that. And then I was able to, instead of like buying the strawberry plants all new, I could take the runners from my old crop and like plant them into this new crop. And so I didn't have to like buy all new strawberry plants and stuff.
Okay.
But, and so each early spring, like we'll plant and fill in like where they didn't make it from the last year. But like right now they're just kind of covered with hay over for the winter. And, I'm just hoping that some of them make it.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably, it's definitely not like earning money. You know what I mean?
No,
it's really just therapeutic and bringing me joy. So I don't try to think about the money
And you
part.
can't put a price on that, right?
It's just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't keep tabs on all that.
Right.
And we also planted an orchard, and that's one thing that we had our first apple last year, which was so cool. So we planted them 2 years ago, but we have 30 trees of apple, pears, peaches, and plums.
Excellent.
So most of them are apples, and that's like what I'm looking forward to because it was really good apple.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to one of the pillars you mentioned, Dr. Saladin, because I'm just curious if planting 30 trees, is this your way of being physically active? Is this your workout
sure is.
exercise pillar?
Oh my goodness, yes, yes. I worked at a nursery when I was a teenager, and so I think that's where this comes from. Yeah, I think that's why I like doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
I just even at the nursery, I remember learning the scientific names of the plants.
Yeah.
And the nursery, they would grow trees from seeds and do seedlings and transplant them and even do grafts and things like that. And so I think that's why I like it. But yeah, it's pretty physically demanding to plant 30 trees. And
how long does that take you guys?
I'm not saying my husband didn't help me, but I planted the majority of those trees that day. And it was a lot of work.
It's like an all-day thing?
Yeah. But it was so cool. I have a memory of being on my knees, planting this thing. And this is the doctor part, incorporating into life. I was on the phone with a radiologist talking about a patient that I was really worried about her MRI. And I just remember thinking this is my life. This is me. I'm part doctor. And
while you were planting.
Yeah. I just was down there, and the radiologist called because I was really worried about this girl, And so it was cool to kind of see how it blended like that,
Yeah.
But everything does blend together, mom, wife, daughter, everything is.
Yeah. What you just said is the coolest thing because that actually makes us a lot more human.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is so important for patients to understand.
Yeah.
That we're just not.
Exactly.
We keep saying this, sir. I'm
Right.
sorry I keep bringing it up because it
you're
moves
right.
me every time.
Yeah.
It's just so great.
No, it is.
And I'm curious along those lines, what is your favorite thing or a couple of your favorite things to do, whether it's physical activity? And again, I don't want to ask you what you do for recreation. You've got so many pots going right now. You don't have time for that. But what do you like doing, whether it's something on the farm or whether it's something outside of the farm with your family? What do you enjoy doing to give yourself that break, to decompress from some of the stresses of life, whether it's farm related or practice related?
Well, I have scheduled therapy every 2 weeks with my therapist, and I make sure that's a priority because even when nothing is going on in life, it's just really nice to have somebody just to talk to.
Yeah.
And I really, one of my personal goals is I want to learn to ride my horse that I've had for a couple years, and I've been taking lessons, but the doctor part in me just makes me a little nervous about falling off the horse. And so that's one of the things that I want to do personally. And so I work on that. Our family likes to play game night. Like when we can do that, that's so fun to us, like just different games and stuff. Cause I realize like my daughter, the teenager, she's going to be gone like in 2 years, and life just goes by so fast. So we try to keep it as slow as we can. But and then I like going to church, and I like I've got a new Bible study that I'm really into right now. Cool. So I don't know, just self-care, but also building relationships with people, because like that's what it's all about.
Yeah, people and slowing things down. Right? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, we talked to you about our listeners and viewers, right? Other family docs, possible students, maybe the public. If you could give our listeners one takeaway about living well or life outside of medicine or anything, what would you say?
Love one another.
And
be kind to people.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of takeaways you could take, but I'd say that's the summary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to get busy with life and to get focused on tasks. But it's really about relationships, not what you get done, but who you get it done with and who you share life experiences with. So that's some great advice. So that's probably a good point to wrap things up as well. So viewers and listeners, thank you again for taking a few minutes to spend with us, and we'll see you on our next episode of Fast Talks with Family Docs.
Thank you for joining us today. The doctors would like to see you back for another check-in. Please choose to follow our podcast, and you will automatically be notified when it's time for your next appointment.